All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Wednesday morning Inner Circle Live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is off to a great start. So as always, let's turn off all distractions, prepare your minds, your bodies to engage as you guys always do. And for the courtesy of everybody on the call, please ensure that your mic is muted if you're not actively asking a question or making a comment. All right. So we're going to dive right in and take a look at some fundamentals. And then we've taken a look at the majority of the pairs, still got some NZDs to look at, but I want to take any pairs that you guys got your eyes on first, and then we'll cover mine second. So let's hop over to Trading Economics to see what we have. All right, and real quick, drop me one in the chat if you can hear me okay, and if you can see my screen. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so crypto sell-off continues. Bitcoin changing hands below 18,000, the lowest in 2 years, as investors remain concerned about FTX insolvency proceedings. All right, Bitcoin is moving down still, as we expected. U.S. futures. Stock futures swung between small gains and losses on Wednesday as the first midterm election results started to come in. Republicans are likely to win the House, but the Democrats will probably keep the Senate. Although the race remains tight and the vote count continues, investors also await October inflation report. All right, that's due tomorrow for hints on how further the Federal Reserve may tighten financial conditions to cool overheating economy. Right, so all eyes now, yeah, they're still waiting on some of these results to come in, but eyes are shifting toward tomorrow. Right, so from a larger perspective, we're waiting to see this inflation rate and see what the Fed may do. All right, Disney shares dropped 7% as they missed quarterly earnings and revenue estimates. Tesla also came into the spotlight after filings revealed that Elon Musk sold nearly $4 billion in shares before his takeover of Twitter. Regular trading on Tuesday, stocks extended gains for the third session. Yeah, so that's where we are there. I'm interested to read about that Elon Musk deal. And then oil. WTI crude futures held a recent decline below $89 a barrel on Wednesday, having lost more than 3% in the previous session as COVID-related uncertainties in top oil importer China and larger than expected build in U.S. crude inventories dampen the demand outlook. China's escalating virus resurgency stoked fears of potential new lockdowns, dashing the hopes of a gradual economic reopening and rebound in energy demand. So last week, there were some talks of China potentially doing away with their zero COVID policy, and doesn't look like that's happening. Meanwhile, industry data showed that the United States stockpiles jumped by 5.6 million barrels last week, beating expectations of 1.1 million barrels. U.S. gasoline inventories also rose by about 2.6 million barrels, despite forecast of 1.1 drawdown. Still, the supply outlook remains tight as OPEC reduced output by 2 million barrels a day in November, while the European Union ban on Russian oil is set to take effect in December. So this is going to be interesting because the EU ban is going to come into play. But what isn't being discussed here with the oil situation is the United States is still getting Russian oil. The way these agreements are worded, and this verbiage is very, very key when it comes to politics. But the way these agreements are worded is if it doesn't come directly from the country, it's not from the country. So what happens is there's oil that goes from Russia to, I believe it's Italy, and it's processed in Italy, then sent to the United States. So the oil is still coming out of Russia, and the companies that the companies that process it in Italy, some of them are still Russian companies, but it's not in Russia anymore, right? So there's still going to be a lot of oil coming out of Russia. So this back and forth is back and forth on the oil thing is likely to continue. Even after the EU bans Russian oil, and they come off of the majority of their import, because the United States is still using Russian oil, right? It's still using Russian oil. So keep that in mind as we trade oil that bounce back and forth. It'll continue to get interesting until some of those things change, if they do. Right, exactly. All the emojis. That's exactly my feeling. So but that's what it is. If you hop on YouTube and Google it, the Wall Street Journal did a whole breakdown on where the oil is coming from and how the United States gets it. So that's oil. Okay. Japanese yen strengthened to 146 per dollar, the strongest in a month amid general greenback weakness and hopes for a shift in Japan's yield curve control policy. The dollar retreated sharply against other major currencies as risk sentiment improved while investors await the results of the midterm elections and key inflationary data come from the Federal Reserve. Meanwhile, Bank of Japan Governor Kuroda recently hinted at a possible adjustment in the yield curve policy control if the achievement of our 2% inflation target comes into sight. Traders also remain cautious as Japan authorities could again intervene in the currency markets after the finance ministry revealed that they spent $19 billion in their first intervention since 1998 in September, and an additional $43 billion between September 29th and October 27th to support the currency further. All right, so watching that there, that intervention is still on the table, but the yen gained some strength. We'll see how things react tomorrow. All right, so that's that. As we saw, like today, not much happening. You got some crude oil inventories coming out of the United States at 10:30. You got a bunch of central bank speakers coming to microphones in different situations. But overall, a pretty slow day. Okay, pretty slow day. Tomorrow is where everybody's eyes are pointed, right here. Right here. So that's what we're going to be waiting on to see. Any questions from a fundamental perspective? Nope. All right, cool deal. So as I switch over, do me a favor, and any pairs that you guys got your eyes on, drop those into the chat for me, and we'll start there and we'll work our way through. All right. GU and GA are the first up. Euro, dollar, CAD, Swiss. All right. Pound Aussie. We're just hovering right now, right? We know we had this beautiful move to the downside off this 80-20 scenario, right? We got us a little bit of pullback. Now we got some indecision. Okay, got some indecision happening in the market. All right, so we want to see if we're able to continue this move to the downside. All right, we got a new daily support. So let's do this. Come back to the weekly. This is what we're going to do. We're going to clear out these lower charts, and we're going to work this off the weekly time frame. Clear these out for a second and get a fresh look, somewhat of a fresh look. All right, so on the weekly, right, we had these resistance levels in, okay? We broke them to the upside and we came back down and broke them to the downside where we retested this level here, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to move this weekly level to the weekly resistance, 2 candles to the right, 2 candles to the left. These levels we're going to take out, right? So this is what we look like from a weekly perspective, okay? And we will send these levels to our lower time frames, bang. So now on our daily, okay, this is what we're looking at, like so. We'll drop our support resistance in here. There we go. Okay. Change that to red. Boom. 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 And boom. All right. So we'll take these levels to our lower time frames, like so. Turn these off. All right, so cleaner look here on the daily time frame, right? We run our fib off the low, bang. Shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. We're starting this breakdown to the downside, okay? Starting this breakdown to the downside. So we want to see if we're able to break below this new daily support level and continue making these lower highs and lower lows, okay? So as we drop to the 4, that one got taken out. So we run our fib off the low here on the 4 as well. Bang, right? We got a deep retracement here. We got this bounce. We talked about this yesterday a little bit, right? We want to make sure that, right, we know overall our bias is short, or my bias is short on this off the daily time frame. So potential for this A on the 4 hour to get taken out, right? So we got this nice pullback here. Now price is turning over, trying to press to the downside. Okay, so my bias is down, so I'm looking for short opportunities off of this, right? We got that pullback. That was a short opportunity there, and we're just hovering sideways a little bit. So as we get down to the 1 hour, we come down here, right? We can run our fib off the high since our bias is short, right? Run our fib off the high, like so. All right, so here on the 1, you got the 618 retracement, you got a double top there, push down, pull back, retest, and down, right? So now ultimately we're just moving sideways right now, but you got a 618 retracement, matching D extension is here at 171. Okay, so we're just hovering right now as everybody is kind of sitting and waiting for tomorrow. So we can put that 382, that's that level there. We'll change this to green and we'll bring that down just so that we have that daily 382 target. Okay, and we see here on the 1 hour that 1 hour D extension is just shy of that daily 382. So that gives us a little bit of confluence that this is a zone that we can watch as price continues to move. Okay, but just hovering a little bit, but ultimately looking for price to continue moving to the downside here. We'll have some levels to break through, but ultimately getting down to the daily 382. Okay, if we drop to the 5, take a look at it from this perspective. Bang, right? On the 5, right, we had this reversal opportunity here, and prices kind of stalling out at this 382 level, right? I got the cloud on there. You see price came back and is retesting the cloud right now, okay? So there is potential for maybe a deeper pullback coming back to that 618 level, maybe, right? And then getting short, okay? So from a 5-minute perspective, you can also run your sub fib to the upside to get you a little bit of confluence there. And you see here, shallow retracement. We didn't get to that 382. Price is stalling in this 118, 127 zone, right? So a couple ways, right? If price turns over here, which it definitely could, we could see price start making its way to the downside off that cloud retest and the shallow retracement off the sub fib, right? That's one idea, that matching the extension off of the sub fib is in line with the 618 retracement level, right? So either you get a breakdown now and price starts making those lower highs and lower lows and continue down to the downside, or you get another push to the upside, which is possible, right? You could get a bounce back and forth from these election results, could lead to some more, I'll choose excitement in the stock market, right? And you could see some rallies. If that occurs, we could see price push up to the 618 level, previous consolidation areas here, right? And retest those levels and then start making its way to the downside. Okay. So what I'll say is play these with caution, right? And make sure your rules are met. So you can run a trend line like so. Wait for a trend line break, right? You can do that as well. Okay. Ultimately, bias is short. It's just a matter of when. Does it start moving now, or do we get another push to the upside and then get that move back down? Okay. Follow me there. Yeah. All right. Miss Mary, what are you seeing on this one?
I'm bearish on it. Ready to enter a new position again if it goes back up.
Gotcha. Okay, sweet. Great work. Great work. And see, we're starting to get a little push now. We'll see if that continues. Great work though. Cool deal. Cool deal. So that's the pound Aussie, pound dollar. I'm watching this one closely. So on this pound dollar, it's our active baby boundary. Got a 618 retracement, and we're just hovering, right? Just hovering from a daily time frame perspective. On the 4, similar deal. We got a nice deep 8-6 retracement, right? I got my stop outside the A. I'm just allowing this one to dance. But ultimately, my bias is short, right? In favor of the dollar. We'll see how it plays out. But we're just pressing sideways. Just pressing sideways. We got a nice bearish candle here yesterday, or this morning, rather, right? And now we're pulling back, right? Taking back some of that bearish candle. So this daily zone here, right? We can adjust it on the higher time frames, but it's just a sideways push. So let's do that actually. What did I do here? So I did make that change there. So that's what we'll do. We will clear this one out, clear this one out, and clear this one out. We're going to take these to our lower time frame. There we go. Right, so we got a support and resistance there now. Cleaner look for us. We'll come back to the high and run our fib. So there we go. All right. So that's the cleaner look there, right? Move those lines in between out of the way. Now we got a clean support and resistance. Okay. So we're looking at this area here, right? And seeing what could we potentially get there. So as we get down to the 1, right? Pull that out. As we come down here to the 1, I'm gonna come back to the high. Just want to check these out real quick. I believe they flipped to the upside. All right, so we're gonna come here. That one also. Yeah, all right. So that is what it is. So let's come down here to our one. We're gonna run our fib from the bottom to the top. Okay. All right, so you got a bunch of indecision happening there. Okay, so not a ton of information to work with. Okay, just choppy. So we'll watch this off of the 4-hour and off of the daily. Okay, so that's our 4-hour fib. We know we got an 8-6 retracement, ultimately looking short. Right, it's just a matter of when. But if we zoom in here, right, just on this last little area, what I'm looking at is potential for this, and we'll look at it on the 15-minute time frame too. But potential head and shoulders pattern here. Actually, no, this would be a crown pattern. That is lower. All right. Come back into this area here, foresee your right tip. Something like that. All right. So that'll give us that reversal pattern. If that comes to fruition, we'll look at it on the lower time frame as well. It'll be a little bit clearer to see, but that's what I'm potentially looking for. We had this previous consolidation zone that we broke out of. We're getting a retracement right now, potentially coming back to retest that area. Right. So that's what I'm looking for in this, and then getting a turnover and a press back down to the downside. Okay. So as we get down to the 5, and we look at this area here, right? We run that fib to the downside. And we got this fresh AB boundary that's working, right? We're getting this pullback now. So that 618 retracement, 786 retracement is in line with that previous consolidation zone, right? Look. This is the area that I'm looking at, right? We love for price to come back into that sweet spot. So let's take this up back to that 1 hour. Right? And that's right in line with ding, 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 that right tip. You guys see how I did that? Right? So if we get this pullback in this, right, into this area, I see this right tip forming in this crown pattern playing out. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting for on the lower time frame, is just that, right? And you can see this crown pattern a little bit more clearly here. Right, we took out that previous low. We get that pullback, or see the right tip, and bang. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. We got a retracement happening now. Missed this 5-minute move off the AB boundary, but we're tracking to the upside. So we'll see if we get price to come back to the zone. If we do, opportunity potentially. If you play C to D's on the 5-minute, you can do that, or you can play this this potential crown pattern, right? Crown pattern off the 1 hour time frame or off the 5-minute time frame. It'd be up to you, right? That fib, if that right tip does form, the harmonic fib would look like this from the high to the low, right? With this move down, coincidentally, right? That 618 level falls right in line with that as well, right? So we got some more confluence there too. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for here on GU, is this retracement to finish out on the lower time frames, come back, retest the zone, and then I'm looking for another short opportunity. Okay, questions here?
Can you go back to your 4 hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a potential crown pattern as well about to play out?
Where you at?
With the right up, yeah,
Right here?
left shoulder where it went up and hit the resistance crown, and then I'm just looking.
I don't see one here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see one here. I don't see this. You're saying this would be your right tip
No,
here?
no, that's the crown. It's the top.
Oh, this is
And
the
then,
top.
yes.
No. So
Okay.
remember on your crown pattern, right? Remember on your crown pattern, you got you have a price push up, and you'll have price come down like this, right? Give a retracement, and then price will take out the previous high. That's what creates your left tip, right? And then you'll get that trend line break and price to take out the previous low, right? So price has to take out the previous low.
Okay.
And then it'll come back like that.
Okay. I was looking at the high right there at, what is that? 1.14392 right there. Yes. That was taken out.
By this high. So you're saying this is your left tip?
Yes.
Gotcha. So what you would need in order for this to be a crown pattern, you would have needed this move down to come down and take out this low.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Right. You would need that to push lower to take out that low.
Out that one. Got it. Okay.
And if it was a head and shoulders pattern, you would have needed to come down to the support level
and break that neck there. Okay.
Right.
I
and
see
then
you drawing them, and I'm just trying to get the hang of those.
Yeah. No. It's that exploration phase, right? That exploration phase, right? So if price comes to that support level, pushes up, that could have potentially given you a head and shoulders pattern, right? If it breaks that support, right, and then comes back, then that's what would have given you the crown pattern. But that low has to be taken out.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for asking. Okay. Any other questions here on this pound dollar? Give me 1 second, everybody. No more questions. Cool deal. Give me 1 second. All right, so that's the pound dollar. We'll see. We'll watch that throughout the day. Right, look for that retracement there. Next on the list, euro dollar. Euro dollar. Got some action here, good people. So daily time frame, right? 382. We're hovering in the zone here. Okay. This was a previous daily resistance level. We're going to move this now because that got broken. We got a new daily resistance level here. Price came back and retested that. So we got a double top scenario right here. Double top scenario right here. Okay. We'll see what happens next. This level here would come down. That's our daily support. So this is our new range there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will come out here and I'm going to clear out all of this. I'm going to come back to these fibs here on the 4. Okay. We'll come back to that, clear that out, and we'll clear out this 5 minute as well. And we're going to take all of our levels from the daily time frame, since I just made that adjustment, and take them down, right? And again, I made that adjustment because the previous daily level got taken out. We got a new swing high here for daily resistance. And this was a level as well. Took that out and gave us a new support level here. Okay, so that's why I made that adjustment there, just so that you guys are aware, especially for our newer folks, that it might be a little fast for you right now. Okay, so we got a double top scenario right here at this new daily resistance level. Okay, overall, still looking for price to come down to this level at some point. Okay, so down to the 4. We'll come back now and we'll run our fib off the high. Like so. Nope, that got taken out. We'll come back here. Bang. And there we go. Okay. There's our fib on the 4. Okay. We had that 618 retracement. We got a double top at that 618 retracement level. Right. Double top action. So, right. Daily level of resistance, came back, retested that daily level of resistance. Nice, beautiful push up. So now we're looking for price to turn over. All right. If that level holds, we'll see price turn over and press to the downside. Okay. So that's the 4-hour look that this is going to be key. All right. I'm going to take this down to our lower time frame so we can see what this looks like. All right. So we'll come down here to the 1 now. Down into the 1. We run our fibs off the low. Bang. So look. Setup opportunity for us. AB boundary. Shallow retracement. Less than a 382. Shallow retracement. Push into the 118 to 127 zone. So we got a double top scenario in line with the 80-20 scenario. Ding, ding. Right? Some confluence there. Push sideways a little bit and then push down out of that consolidation zone. And we're coming back to retest that consolidation zone right now. Okay. So here's an opportunity for you. Here's an opportunity for you, depending on what confirmations you need, right? Benny talked about it last night. When we see these 80-20 scenarios pop up, regardless of the time frame, our eyes get big, right? And we're looking at the details. We're looking at the details to see if our rules are met and waiting on the rules to get met if they are not at that moment, right? So we run our trend lines to the upside, like so. Through the highest point, we had that consolidation, so we would have shifted this out like that, right? Sideways push through your trend line, sideways push through your trend line to the outermost point would have been like so. Strong bearish candle, bang, right? That's your entry opportunity. Or if you want to wait for the pullback off of that, you can do so, right? Trend line break, strong bearish candle. You're getting a pullback now, right? Getting a pullback now. So what you can do is a couple things. If you don't want to take the trade off of that bearish candle close, cool, no problem. You can wait for a pullback, right? And then waiting for that pullback, you can drop to your lower time frame, like so, right? And here, because we're looking for a price to continue moving to the downside, and you're looking for a pullback, this is how you do it. You run your fib in the direction of your bias, which is down, right? And you wait for a price to pull back into your zone. Okay. Wait for price to pull back into your zone. So we have price push up. We'll see if we get another pullback into that sweet spot. Bang. Okay. So that's what you'll be waiting for on a 15-minute time frame. Same rules, right? 618, 786, 86 retracement, right? Same rules. So we're waiting to see if we get one more push to the upside. If you want to, you can, sure. That's totally up to you and the rules that you write. Right? That's just like every other scenario that we trade, right? If you want to trade that counter trend move, right? Fresh AB boundary. Weren't able to break that B boundary. If you want to trade that off the B boundary on the pullback, by all means. All right, that's what we've been talking about, right? So if you want to play the counter trend move, by all means, right? Make sure you write that in the rules and you're consistent in regards to what trades you're taking. Okay. But that's it there. Okay. Yes. Oh, that's a mistake. No, Miss Carolyn. We talk about break and retest, right? But the rules that we have in place, right? Trend line breaks, using the fib as your guide, shallow retracements, 118 and 127 zones, those three sweet spots that we talk about. That's what we trade, and we add the additional things in as additional confirmation. Okay. So break and retest is just something you can use as confirmation, right, to everything else. Okay. Just confirmation to everything else. Yeah. Okay. But we trade these sweet spots off of the fib. We use the trend line. We use the cloud. We use support and resistance, right? We use those as additional confirmation pieces for those entry opportunities. Okay. Like so, right? Trend line break, that's a confirmation piece. Trade entry, right? If you want to wait for a pullback, that's an additional piece of confirmation that you're waiting for the entry, right? But shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone prices in our sweet spot, right? Some people, once this occurs, shallow retracement, 118, 127, they're taking that trade as soon as it pushes into that zone, right? If we talk to Ebony, this is what she looks for. When price gets there, she takes the trade, right? So it's all about you exploring to understand what confirmation pieces you need to enter the trade. These rules of the methodology, those aren't going to change. Those will be the same regardless of the time frame, regardless of the asset class that you're trading. The entry technique, right, is what you have to explore, and that's what we give you multiple options on, and we teach you, right, these are the ways you can look at this to enter the trade. Okay. All right, so you got that nice pullback, retest that consolidation zone, right? Entry opportunity there. Okay. Give me 1 second, good people. I want to measure this out. 40 pips. 35. Oops. Cool. So 0.938. All right. Cool deal. Okay, so that's the Euro USD, right? Opportunity to get short. Opportunity to get short. Okay. Could see this continue to bounce and hover, right? We got the election stuff and all of that, right? So make sure we meet your rules first. Right? And then take the trade. Make sure to meet your rules first and then take the trade. Okay. But there we go. Any questions, any other questions on that Euro USD? All right. So Carolyn, just like your question, right? Can you trade the pullback as a buy, right? So you're trading counter to trend here, right? That would be a counter trend trade if you did that, taking the trade from the B boundary, being it there, right? So on the 1 hour time frame, You're trading counter to trend here, right? Your B boundary, 118 to 127 zone. This current trend is up, right? It's all relative to the time frame, but your current trend is up. Price is moving up. We're looking at this retracement here, right? So it's just inverse to the 5-minute time frame, right? Because that was a retracement there. This is a retracement here, right? So counter the trend. That's the counter trend move. Now, if you're trading with the trend, you're waiting for price to come down into this zone, right? And then based on your time, your bias off the higher time frame, right? If you're looking for a buy opportunity when price gets down here, now you're trading with the trend. Make sense? Cool deal. All right. So that's what we're looking for. Okay. That's what we're looking for. You're trading off this 1 hour time frame, put a stop. If you want to put it outside the 127, that's 66 pips. To the 382, you're looking at 135. You got your 2-to-1 there, right? 6-to-1-8 is 205. If price continues making its way down to that daily support level, you're looking at over 300 pips to the downside. Okay. So that is that. No other questions here on the euro dollar. We will keep it rocking, and we'll take a look at the CAD Swiss. Ooh, it's making its move. Making its move. So, daily time frame. Man, beautiful evening start here. We're looking for price to push up into the 618 level. Evening start, decision, indecision, decision, bang, we're moving down, right? Nice 618 retracement, strong wick action there, and we pressing down. So we got a new swing high. So we'll bring that up like so. That's our 618 retracement level. Okay, we got a support level here. We'll add that in. And 1, 2. We got a support level here. Okay, so on these lower time frames, right? We'll look at the previous markup, and then I'm gonna delete some of this stuff so we can clean it up a little bit, right? But we're looking for price to push into this zone, right? That's what this green box is. That's what I was looking for, right? And we got it. Bang. Price is pushing down. Price is pushing down in a beautiful way, coming out of that zone. Okay. So ultimately looking for price to continue to the downside now, right? At least it's daily support, but we could have a further ways to go with this particular pair. Okay. Yeah, 1 second, good people. Okay, but beautiful push. That's what we're looking for, and we got it. Okay. So I'm gonna clean all this up. All right. So I'm gonna delete all these now just so we can get a clean look, and then we'll break this down. Clear screen.
Something must be going on with CAD Swiss right now because it's dropping hard.
Yeah. You got that things happening with oil, right? So it'll be interesting to see how this continues to move, but that Canadian dollar with oil, that definitely could be driving some of it. We'll take a look at some news in a second and see if anything occurred. Right, so we got our levels back here. Okay, but it's definitely running. Definitely running. Bang, right? So that's what we're looking for there. We got it. Now we're pressing down, coming into that support level, right? So we'll see a couple things, right? Could we get price to get to the support level and then give us a pullback? Something like that, right? Or do we just break, retest it, and continue moving? Okay, so we'll watch that as we get to that support level to see. how price moves. Okay. I'd love for a pullback to give me a high price, right? And give me this head and shoulder type action. Give me this head and shoulder type action here. Right. If we get a push down to that support level and then get a bounce, I'd love to see that selfishly, right? Give us something like that. If that occurs, right? It could not. If it breaks, I'll look for a pullback to retest that daily level, right? And then I'm short. Okay. Okay. So that's where we are from a 4-hour time frame perspective. We get down here to the 1. I'll pull the cloud out. We got a nice break and retest of that. We'll run our fib to the upside, like so. And surprise, surprise, right? New AB boundary that pushed into that daily resistance level, right? So this is an example, right? A clean example when I talk about not going any lower than the daily time frame for my support and resistance, right? When these daily levels come in line with new AB boundaries or 80-20 scenarios, daily, weekly, monthly, any of those higher time frame levels, you get strong reactions to them. It's what I've seen historically, right? So you got this fresh AB boundary in line with daily resistance level, right? On the higher time frame, you had 618 retracement level in line with that daily resistance level on the 4. On the daily, you had a daily 618 retracement level in line with that daily resistance level, right? So you got key levels in line with daily resistance, right? So the support there, right? So that's why I don't go any lower than the daily time frame. These levels are key. Levels are key, right? So here on the 1, we're pressing down, okay? Coming down here, if you run a sub fib on a 1, this is what you look like here, okay? So what we could see potentially, right? We got a 50% retracement off of the sub fib, right? The extension is down here. So in my mind, when I see this, right, 2 things pop in, right? Either that break and retest, right, that we drew up on the 4-hour time frame, or, right, this is that support level, price pushed up, took out that A. If we come down to get to this D extension, and if this level holds and we start to get a pullback, I'm looking for a crown pattern. Okay, so this is that example. Was it Cassandra that asked? Somebody asked. Right? If we get that break of that support, you would draw up the head and shoulders on the 4-hour, right? If we get the break of the support, get to that D extension, and if that holds and we get that pullback, this is what I'm looking for, right? This is what I'm looking for. Because if we get the pullback, then we break back, especially if we break back above this daily level, right? If we get price action that looks like this, and then all of a sudden we get a pullback and it breaks back above that daily level, my eyes are really keying in on this potential crown pattern. And then I'm looking for that right tip to get short. Okay. So just some little nuances there as you're evolving and as you're watching the price action, right? You'll start to train your eyes to see some of this stuff, right? And that's that exploration phase, right? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So we'll see what happens at the support level. Okay. But we're pushing down in a beautiful way right now. Pushing down in a beautiful way right now. Okay. So that's on the 1. Moving to the downside. If we come down to the 5, right, and we run these fibs off the high, bias is short, right? Run the fibs off the high, bang, 618 retracement, coming into a D extension in line with that daily support level, right? So this will be interesting then, right? So we could get some confluence here for a potential retracement play. This is all just hypothetical what I'm doing right now. Okay. All hypothetical, but bang, D extension on your 1 hour is here. Okay. Make that solid. Take that down to our lower time frame. Just so I can see where that falls. Okay. So we get price to push down, get to that D extension, right? And we create a swing low there. I'm going to leave this fib here just to see what happens, right? Just to see what happens. You can't project these things. You don't know when those swing lows are going to form. But if we get a swing low in this area, right? A fresh AB boundary will form. Fresh AB boundary will form. And then we'll see if we get something like this. Hitting that 1 hour D extension and then giving us a pullback. So we'll watch to see how this plays out on this CAD Swiss, right? To see if we get this type of action, an 80-20 scenario, or even a fresh AB boundary, right? Because price could run all the way to that D extension, right? Even if you get a fresh AB boundary, bang, right? So we're going to watch this to see. We're going to watch this to see how this plays out, right? I'm going to leave my hypothetical fib there. And we'll see what happens. Okay. But that's what we're looking at, down to the downside, right? We're running overall bias is short, 618 retracement off the daily time frame, matching D extension is there, right? Which is 82 pips away from where price currently is, right? So a lot of potential to the downside. Okay. 124 pips if you took the trade from where it currently stands. We'll wait to see if we get a pullback first, right? Wait to see if we get a pullback, come back into our zone, and then we'll look to get short. Okay. But that's a beautiful play if you didn't take that trade off the 618, wait for the pullback, right? But that's a beautiful setup opportunity there. Okay. Questions on this CAD Swiss? Who's that? Miss Cassandra. What are you seeing on this CAD Swiss, Miss Cassandra?
Okay, I entered this one, let me see, on the 4th, and I did based on the discussion we had, I think it was back on November the 1st, looking at all of the various confluences.
Yeah.
The confluence with the 61.8, well, it pulled back to 61.8 on the 4 hour, as you pointed out, but that was confluent with the D, 61.8. And then there was a sub-fib that you had also drawn from the bottom of that 4 hour.
Yep, right there.
And it all just lined up. So I'm in this one right now.
Beautiful.
And I'm up like 82 pips in it.
I love it. I love it. Great work. Great work. It's beautiful. Beautiful, right? This is the sub fib that she's talking about here off the low. That D extension was right here, just ahead of that 618 level, right? And all lined up for her. She took the trade. Beautiful. Beautiful, 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 right? So she added in the additional pieces of confirmation that she needed, right? And once those confirmation points were met, she pulled the trigger, right? She pulled the trigger. Beautiful job. Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Let's see. Calvin, is that a head and shoulders pattern? Where are you looking at? You're looking at this right here? Yeah, head and shoulders, right? If this occurs, right? It's not a head and shoulders pattern right now. No. Not a head and shoulders pattern right now, no. Right? We need price to come down to the support level, which it's doing. If the support level holds and we get a pullback, then that'll be that head and shoulders that we just drew. all right? But you don't get lopsided head and shoulders. That's not it's not an actual thing. Okay. So we got to wait to see what happens at the support level. All right. Any other questions on this CAD Swiss? No. All right, real quick, I want to take a look at leave Bitcoin where it's at, but it's moving down as expected, right? Coming into that support level. I'm still waiting on 9,000. Once we get to 9,000, then we'll get some action. So that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. But New Zealand CAD. I'm gonna go to the higher time frames and break this down, but new AB boundary, right? We're hovering at this 118 level. Right? See if we get a pullback on this 5-minute time frame. Okay. So that's the setup opportunity there. But let's bounce back to the daily, see where we're at overall. Okay. Clear this out. Okay. Here, we just wicked this 382 on this push up, right? And price been making its way to the downside, came just shy of the D extension here. We got this pullback into this cluster of daily resistance. Okay. So we're hovering there. I got this trend line running. If we get a break of the trend line to the downside, right, we could be in for price to come back down to get to that D extension and potentially give us a double bottom scenario. Okay. Maybe even go lower, right? But at least to this monthly support level. So I got this trend line there, watching that. All right. So we drop down to the 4. We zoom out, get our fibs here on the 4-hour time frame. Okay. So on your 4, you got, right, 618 retracement. Price hasn't got to that D extension yet, right? So that kind of serves as a little bit of confirmation for us that we could be headed to the downside to come back down to this monthly support level and actually tag that D extension, okay? So this is where we sit. Pullback, price pushing to the downside, looking to see if we get a nice clean break of that trend line. We'll see, okay? So that's the 4. Get down to the 1 hour. Clear this out. Let's see. Yep, okay. So we come back here to the high. Run our fib down like so. Actually, let's do this. Come to the 4. We'll take these out to our 1. Bang. Okay. So we see here, right? Price pushed up, took out our A. Okay. Price pushed up, took out our A. So we'll run the fib from the low to the high. Boom. Okay. And we see what happened here. That's an odd one. That fib should be there. That was it's probably a fundamental reaction, but let's see. From that low. Okay. So this fib should look like this. Right? That's your AB boundary. You got to push up, right? Try to give us a double top look. Now we're breaking down. Okay. Now we're breaking down. Back at that 786 retracement level, this 1 hour fib could get taken out. Okay. Could get taken out. If we're going to continue pressing to the downside, we're hovering right now at the trend line, right? So we'll see if we get price to continue moving down. We could be in for a pullback first, right? We could be in for a pullback first. So that's what I want to look at the potential opportunity on the lower time frame. Okay, so nice, strong, bearish move here, nice impulsive move to the downside, right? So we come to the 5 and just look at that impulsive move to the downside, which is there. Okay, run the fib off the high, boom. AB boundary 118 to 127 zone. Price is trying to start that push, right? So that's an opportunity for us as well on a 5-minute play for those that trade these intraday setups on the New Zealand CAD. Potential for this to come back to at least at 382, right? So we'll watch that and we'll play that accordingly if it meets your rules. Okay. Questions here? No questions? Any questions on anything that we covered this morning? Nope. All righty. Well, Benny will be back with us tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session. Continue to be patient, good people, right? Make sure your rules are met. If you don't have them, you should be diving into the training, right? Going through each video step by step in the order in which that we place them, right? To understand the foundation of the methodology, why we teach it the way that we do. And you can start exploring these different ideas, right? What is a shallow retracement 118 and 127 zone, right? You can start exploring these things. But if you don't have rules, you need to be diving into the training. You need to be in a demo account and you need to be practicing marking up your charts, right? And practicing seeing what it feels like to take some of these entries. All right. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys, man. You guys have an awesome day. And we'll see you tonight, 9 p.m. Peace.